This video is going to be a little bit spicy, but I don't intend it to be that way. I'm making this video because I actually do care about people. I think that the narrative that we're pushing out to society about all bodies are beautiful, no matter how big they are or whatever, is an absolute joke, because it's just not true. And speaking from personal experience, my grandfather was 425 pounds when he passed away. I think he was in his 70s. And my grandmother broke her own back trying to lift him out of a chair after a surgery because he couldn't get out of the chair by himself. And it was really, really sad to see how that not only affected my grandfather, because obviously he felt terrible about it, and he couldn't do anything about it. He was a prisoner in his own body. But how it affected my grandma. My grandma was incredibly sweet and was trying to help with a lot of things, but because she was so old, it kind of disabled her, and it made it so she couldn't really move as well. And it was all because of obesity and just like lifestyle changes that could have avoided all of that. And I'm not saying this to try to fat shame anybody. Like, I don't think that's going to help the situation either. In fact, it probably makes it worse. In my experience, most of the time, people that are obese, they have some mental stuff going on. A lot of the time, I think it's that they're nervous eaters or they're anxious eaters. And bullying isn't the answer either. And honestly, it's really kind of sad. We can do better than that as a society. So I'm going to cover a couple of things in this video. I want to talk about the healthcare costs associated with obesity, because it's actually staggering how much we as taxpayers, including people that are obese that work, but how much we spend on healthcare alone on that, and employers. I want to talk about what healthy body positivity looks like, and I want to talk about, some other things towards the end. But something that really just upsets me, right? Because like I saw how this affected my grandfather. I saw how it affected a lot of the men in my family. I've had men who've gotten gastric bypasses. Like, most of the men in my family are over 380 pounds. And I know how hard it is. I've seen how hard it is. But I'm telling you right now that if you think it's hard and you're in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s and you're obese, you have no idea how bad it gets when you enter your 60s and 70s, if you make it that far. My grandfather, I think, had a total of 4 surgeries on his heart, maybe 5. He had 3 knee replacements, 2 on one knee, 2 hip replacements. And he was so big he couldn't get out of his chair, and any like wounds that he had on his legs, they would get infected with sweat. And he would get a leg infection that would eventually spread throughout his whole leg, and his whole leg would turn bright red, and you couldn't even touch his skin without it splitting. And I can't even imagine how immensely painful it was, and the amount of hours my grandma spent cleaning him out. And it's crazy because like all of this can be avoided if you just put yourself first, your health first, and commit to a healthier lifestyle. That being said, not all of us need to have a crazy nice body or be super fit. Like it's not about that. It's just about getting to a healthier state. And something that really bothers me about this is there were so many freaking celebrities that I feel like were just capitalizing on these emotions that people had. And it was honestly kind of gross. Like celebrities like Lizzo and Oprah Winfrey and Meghan Trainor and Amy Schumer. And I know that not all of them used Ozempic, but a lot of them used Ozempic to lose weight too. And it comes off as like incredibly hypocritical. And I know that like Oprah Winfrey and like Amy Schumer, like they've spoken out about it and they've changed their minds, and people are allowed to change their minds. But it's just like, to me, kind of gross that was a narrative that they even considered pushing, when it's like you can push a totally different narrative about what healthy body positivity looks like, and not try to like manipulate people just to get them to like you so you get more money or clicks. And that's what it seemed like to me, and that's just something that I really don't like. And the other thing too, when it comes to this kind of stuff, is like there's a lot of like sassiness around it now, like people that are big and proud and stuff like that. And it's good that you have that confidence, but like use that to push it towards getting a better and healthier goals for yourself. Because like I think the majority of society would agree that like we don't find people that have a lack of self-control or that are like debilitating themselves and society as a whole attractive. It's not attractive at all. You see these bigger models and stuff, and most of the people I know are like, what the hell is that? Like what? Like why? Like it's just not. And society shouldn't be required to think a certain way just because you don't want to change your own behavior. Like especially if it's costing a lot of like all of us a lot of money in healthcare, and it is like overall a strain on society as a whole. And you can see it like pretty obviously when you look at some other people that are healthier, right? Like these people on Instagram that have healthy lifestyles or promote healthy lifestyles. They're idolized for a reason. It's because if you've ever done it, you know how freaking hard it is. It's not easy to like go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, eat meal prep for years in a row, and be consistent as they are for as long as they are to make it work. There are also a lot of people out there that use tren and like a bunch of other steroids and stuff, and they're fake too. And they're no better, to be honest, but it's just pushing this false narrative about big is beautiful and is healthy is not good. I'm going to read some numbers really quick on how much we spend on obesity related healthcare costs. 173 billion with a B annually. This is every single year in direct medical costs due to obesity, primarily type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Obesity related disabilities contribute $44 billion annually to healthcare cost. $44 billion. And I don't think that include that, like, so this is people that I think are on disability and it for obesity because their back hurts or whatever. But that's not even including costs associated with like housing, food, their cars, any of this other stuff. That's just primarily healthcare, 44 billion. And the absolute staggering number to me is $400 billion employers and employees collectively pay in costs related to obesity. Okay. Those numbers are staggering to think about. And it makes you question the system as a whole. And I don't know a ton about this, but I do know that like food stamps and WIC and stuff like that, they do promote like a lot of healthier foods and stuff. It just depends on how much they can afford. But it's glaringly obvious that if we made unhealthy food less available or way more expensive and we're able to capitalize on promoting healthier eating habits, that would probably directly change some of these issues, especially for people that are poor. But I just don't see that really happening because it's like it's similar to the healthcare system. The healthcare benefits from people being sick. It's like a patient cured is a patient lost. And that's where you kind of really have to take it into your own hands and take control of your life if you really want to change, because you can. And something that isn't talked about either, especially for people that are using Ozempic and whatnot, is the mental benefits, but also the confidence you grow through building yourself. And that's what a lot of these like people with money aren't going to ever have. Like if there's any sort of really bad negative side effect of Ozempic, or as they get older, if they haven't learned how to actually go through those lifestyle changes, they're going to continue to be big their whole life, or they're going to gain it all back because of bad habits. And something that I think when it comes to exercise and dieting in particular that's not talked about a lot is the mental health side of it, like how beneficial it is. When you actually set goals and you show up for yourself every day consistently for a very long time, it raises your confidence and it makes you feel more fulfilled as a person. And that continues to feed a fire in you. And I think that it shows, like, and especially for people that have lost weight and have gotten to a point where they feel good about themselves, it kind of shows the bastardization of what the bullshit narrative around body positivity actually is. Because like there's a reason you're depressed, there's a reason you're anxious, and it's because your body isn't healthy. Your body wants you to change because it knows that you're killing it with food. So I want to talk about what healthy body positivity looks like, because I do think that there is a certain level of it that is healthy, and there is some of the message pushed to society that I think is accurate. And one of the things is that you can only really change your body so much unless you have extreme dedication to a diet and to a workout regimen. But like genetics play a way bigger role than we give credit for. And the thing is like you can only change your body so much unless you do those things for a very long time. And even then it's like your body is going to naturally progress back to something anyways. And like I've always been the type of person that was very skinny. Like sickly skinny though. I was on the opposite end of the spectrum, and it was just as dangerous and not fun either. But I know how hard it was to put muscle or weight on. And like I've had to accept that my body just wants to be that way unless I want to dedicate an insane amount of resources and time to it. But the opposite's also true for curvy people. And the thing about this is like when you accept that, it's honestly attractive too. It's kind of like when you just accept yourself for who you are and you're not worried about what a lot of other people think. You just accept that your body's going to be a certain way because of these genetics. You're going to like, that's attractive. And like, yeah, dude, a lot of people are attracted to skinny, tall, fit people. There's a lot of people that are attracted to like hourglass curvy, man. That shit's hot. So it's just like, it's like ultimately at the end of the day, if someone doesn't like you because your body is a certain shape, you probably shouldn't be with them anyways. Like there's plenty of people out there that will like your body for what it is. And I had this realization because I was trying to go from like 170 pounds to 190-ish pounds. So I meal prepped 6 meals like a day for nearly 2 years, and I got up to about 185 pounds. I got COVID, the Delta variant, and I had a really bad fever for 11 days that was going off and on. But I would sweat so much. Like I remember I'd wake up in just like a sweat puddle, and I couldn't eat anything hardly but like chicken broth. And I lost all of the muscle I put on in a 14-day period when it was all said and done that I had been working on for nearly 2 years. And that was just really eye-opening for me to just be like, okay, like my body wants to be a certain way, and that's okay. And I honestly feel like I'm better and healthier for it because I'm not like as obsessive about what my body looks like or like trying to hit these goals. Like I do have goals. Like I do think that there's benefits to being attractive. There's definitely benefits to being physically fit. Not only the mental aspect, but I think another big one that's not talked about is just like the real world practicality of like having more energy, like being able to get more work done and like being able to do more things with my life because I have more energy. And like I'm very grateful for that. And something that I think like because I've talked to my other friends that are heavier about this as well. And I think a lot of them are self-conscious about how they look at the gym. And in my experience with people at the gym, most people at the gym have a really good understanding of what you're going through. Like 95% of the people at the gym would probably see you and be stoked that you're there. And I'm sure it's like different based off of geographical areas and stuff. But like as a whole, most of the time, most of the people that like, if you're self-conscious about going to the gym, most of the time, those people are going to be rooting for you and they're like proud to see you there. And like, to be completely honest, for me, when I go to the gym and I see like a bigger person like working out and just like absolutely crushing it, it motivates me to work harder. It really does. But ultimately, that's what I think healthy body positivity looks like. I wanted to take the time to make this video to share my experience on it because I really do think there's not enough awareness about how that stuff affects you the older you get. And my hope with making this video is that some people will watch this and not like feel shamed for how they are, but be inspired to make a better life for themselves based off of wanting to avoid what's going to happen if they don't. Please feel free to leave any comments of your own stories from family members or your own personal stories, because I don't think it's talked about enough. And I think that it'd be kind of interesting to read and see what y'all have to say as well. But yeah, anyways, I hope this video helps some people and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.